What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to another review for the Christmas Movie Challenge. Now we're getting on to another film for the Christmas Challenge, and I completely forgot about this one. Because this does take place around Christmas time, or actually on Christmas, actually. But, I always forgot about this film. And I think it's a really fun movie, really fun comedy. We're going back into the comedy section here of Christmas movies. And I figured, you know what? I figured I'd talk about an underrated comedy that I do enjoy. And I saw this film for the first time not too long ago, and I thought it was pretty damn funny. But if you don't know, I mean, it's a pretty underrated movie, too. It came out the year in 1994, the year I was born, actually. And if you can tell by the title of the video, it's going to be on The Ref. He's taken them hostage, and now they're driving him nuts. The Ref, directed by Ted Demme, who sadly is no longer with us anymore. I know Ted Demme, he passed away very young from a heart attack, which I think was due to cocaine in his system, sadly, and it caused him to have a heart attack. So sad. It's pretty sad, but I think he did a really solid job directing. Now Ted Demme, he's directed a couple of other films that I know. He did Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. He also did I think the last one he directed was Blow with Johnny Depp. But The Ref is it's a mixture of like a dark comedy in a way. You have Denis Leary, Judy Davis, and yes, Kevin Spacey, of course. But, I mean, the basic idea with The Ref, Denis Leary plays a guy who's a crook, and there's a heist that goes wrong with him and his partner. His partner abandons him, so Denis Leary doesn't know what to do. He gets abandoned in the middle of the heist that went wrong, so he has to, like, buy some time to hide away from the cops, and for a few hours until the whole thing settles down. So he takes this couple hostage in their home, played by Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis. And then basically the couple is bickering and things like that, and then he ends up kind of becoming their marriage counselor when he doesn't want to be. So it's like the more and more as the night goes on, they're driving him insane because of all their bickering and things like that. There's a lot more subplots in the film as well that go along with it. But really, I think it's a fun comedy, mainly because of Denis Leary. Now, Denis Leary, I'm a big fan of Denis Leary. Around this time, Denis Leary, and actually Ted Demme actually worked with Denis Leary on one of his stand-ups. Because Denis Leary is a stand-up comedian, and Ted Demme actually directed one of Denis Leary's stand-ups, and they like working together, so they got this movie, The Ref. Now, Denis Leary around this time had a small part in Demolition Man, and of course he was the main villain before this, he was the main villain in Judgment Night, which is my favorite movie of all time. He played an awesome villain in Judgment Night. So this was the first time Denis Leary got to star in a movie. And he's the reason why this film is a lot of fun. Now, before I get on to Denis Leary, Kevin Spacey, I mean, knowing what Kevin Spacey's like now, if you don't know, Kevin Spacey is a creep because of all the horrible shit that he did. It all came out, things like that. So it's kind of hard to watch things with Kevin Spacey in it nowadays. But going back to Denis Leary, Denis Leary has just his reactions to this couple bickering and how they drive him insane. There's a point where he's like, I can't believe it. I just hijacked my fucking parents. You know what this family needs? A mute. And then there's a point where there's this doll, and they say, like, oh, like, don't touch that, that's an expensive doll. And then Denis Leary's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he just rips the doll's head off. So, and Dennis Leary makes the film a lot of fun. He's easily the highlight of the movie. It gets a lot of laughs. And there's a really fun moment in the movie, too, because the first scene that you see is Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis arguing with one another with their counselor, and it's B.D. Wong, who is in Jurassic Park and a lot of other stuff. He says to them, "Please lower our voices," and they both scream at him, "Fuck you!" So, there's a lot of good chuckles to get out of this film. And there's a point where Dennis Leary says, like, "If you don't shut up, I'm going to take that turkey and just stick it so far up your ass." So, Dennis Leary, like I said, he easily steals the show in the film. Dennis Leary. He's a lot of fun. Very solid direction as well by Ted Demme. Pretty fun idea of a dark comedy. And there's even a point where Dennis Leary punches out a Santa Claus. So, yeah, but surprisingly enough, I completely forgot this was a Christmas movie. But you know, Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis do a good job. Dennis Leary is the best part of the movie as well. Ironically enough, the executive producers were Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, who I think, I know they worked on quite a bit of movies together. A lot of movies. But if you want to see a really fun, like, a dark comedy, and if you're a big fan of Dennis Leary, I recommend you give this a look. I think it's a fun comedy. But that's pretty much it for my review for The Ref. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.